What is up, everybody? Welcome to Friday, June 24th edition of Daily Betslip. Loaded show today. I'm your host for today, Reed Wallach. Alongside me is Donnavan Smoot. We're going to go over a crazy baseball game between the two best teams in the AL last night. We're going to go over game of the night. Colorado Avalanche going for the Stanley Cup against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Of course, we got our best bets for you right in the middle. And a little Wimbledon preview. Wimbledon starts next week. We got you covered with a few betting tips, strategies, and two key players at the top of the odds board that we are both fading when everything gets started at Wimbledon. But before we get started, Donovan, how are you? How was your NBA draft night before we get started with anything else? Were you on the Paolo Banchero train? Did you buy the rumors? How was your NBA draft?
I was not. I got hit by the Woj bomb. I got hit back because when Woj comes out and says it, you take that. If Woj or Shams says it, you take it as law. And so Jabari, the news comes out that Jabari's going to go one, and I go and I put a little something extra on Jabari to go one, and hours later Woj ends up telling everybody that, oh, my bad, guys, I was wrong. And so I lost a little bit of bread last night, but it's okay. We move on. We ball.
And it's funny because I was on the anti Jabari train since the beginning. I was on Chet early, and then I pivoted to Paolo when I kind of saw what was going on. I was definitely a little nervous. I had like an inclination. Just the doubt made me believe that it was not going to be Jabari, if you know what I mean? Even though like Woj is saying it, everyone's saying it. I'm just like, there's something not adding up here. And the fact that people kept betting Paolo, it just made me believe. But you're right, though. I mean, when Woj says something, that's it. It's over. Like, he is the all-knowing. So for him to get, I wouldn't say duped, but for him to get so incorrect, and he also didn't admit it still yet, which I think is shameful in my opinion. And a lot of people got it wrong, but he's kind of has the egg on his face. It was just I've never seen a situation like that. I did profit. So it was, besides that, it was a big draft night for me, but it's a lesson to be told that, I said the cliche is like so annoying at this point, but like Vegas knew. The bettors beat Woj. It's you got to tip your cap. Someone knew something, and that someone was right, and Woj was unfortunately wrong. But we're gonna have plenty of NBA, both draft reaction, summer league previews, NBA Rookie of the Year odds already out. We got that covered for you over on BetSided, so make sure you go check that out. But let's also talk about what went down in Major League Baseball last night, because surprise, surprise, the New York Yankees won again. 52-18 now after a chaotic ninth inning that ended with an Aaron Judge walk-off single. The Yankees erased a 3-run deficit in the ninth against the Houston Astros. They won as -135 favorites. Astros +120. Brutal beat. Brutal. You're thinking Bregman hits an early home run. You're thinking, okay, Astros about to make a statement that, they can hang with these Yankees, but like always, the Yankees find a way to pull this out, an absolute wagon. And Dominic, I think you had some numbers on how many comebacks they have this year, right? I think you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, it's like they have 15. It's 15 straight wins, 21 comeback victories, 9 walk-offs this year. It's insane what the Yankees are doing. And you talk about the bad beat. Hicks was on his last strike, right? He had 2 strikes on the count, and they're down. They're down 3 runs. He's able to. Yeah, and he's able to knock that one out the park. So again, like if you're on that Astros money line, you think like, okay, listen, we just got to come in, we're gonna clean it up real easy. Even if you give up one, or 2, but to get the 3-run blast to tie it in the ninth, and then just have everything come crumbling down right in the last 3 outs, you're just like, can you get one out, please? It's the ultimate sweat. If you're on the Astros money line, you got beat. You got beat last night.
Yeah, especially against the Yankees. Like being up 3 runs against the Yankees, it already feels like you're losing. It's just like this team is unbelievable, and I think it's funny being in the New York area because all my Yankee fan friends, they were out on the Yankees going into the year, and all of a sudden everyone just loves the Yankees. They can't believe it. I think that even the fan base is shocked at. I mean, they're on an 120 win pace. I mean, it's unbelievable. They didn't make any crazy move in the offseason. It's not like this team kind of was put together this winter. This has been pretty much a returning cast of characters, and they're really just playing unbelievable baseball. It's, I make the joke that they play easy competition and whatnot, but they're beating up on the good competition too. I mean, the Astros have the second best record in the American League. This is pretty much their best competition record-wise in the American League to get back to the World Series. So, and statement made. And this is a big measuring stick series for the Yankees and the Astros heading into this weekend. But I mean, listen, if you want to try and make your money back on Houston, currently plus 110 against the Yankees tonight at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Justin Verlander's Cy Young favorite in the American League. He's towing the slab for the Astros against Luis Severino for the Yankees. Or maybe the Yankees will just win again. I mean, it's just keep rolling.
At this point, you just have to pencil it in. You write the first line of either like the L or the W, and then by the fifth inning, then you're finishing it up.
Yeah, and so there was last night's bad beat in the MLB, but we got some best bets for you in Major League Baseball tonight. Donnavan and myself, we each have two best bets. Donnavan, I'm going to start with you with your two best Major League Baseball plays for tonight.
Yeah, so okay, and I'm gonna give this preface. I'm not gonna lie; these props, they're a little juiced, right? They're a little juiced. However, I still really like them. So the first one I'm gonna go with is Sandy Alcantara over 5.5 strikeouts. Against the Mets. And listen, we talk about these New York teams and these great lineups that they have. Obviously, the Mets have one of the best offenses in the league. But Alcantara, he's on fire right now, especially with this line. He's cleared it in 4 of his last 5 starts. And the only game that he missed it by the hook, right? He had 5 strikeouts in this game. He's consistently around this line. And even though that you're going against, the Mets, Alcantara has been so consistent this entire season that I really trust him in this spot. There's only been one game this season where he's been away from this line, where he's missed it by more than 2 strikeouts, or by 2 strikeouts and more. So he's always around this line. So today I'm just going to do, I've kind of been doing all week. I'm just going to ride the hot hand with him. And then my other one, I'm going to go with Chris Flexen over 4.5 strikeouts, minus 135. Not as juice, so I feel, a little bit better about this one. But it's kind of similar to Sandy's prop. He's very consistent. He has a hot hand, and on top of that, the Angels are the definition of swinging and missing. They average the most strikeouts per game in Major League Baseball. Any pitcher who goes up against the Angels, they're going to get a bunch of strikeouts. And so I've backed this play, and I've faded the Angels a bunch of times this year. It's worked out for me a handful of times. And so if you're telling me that somebody who's hit this mark in his last 2 starts is going up against the worst strikeout team in the league, yeah, I'll take that one. So I'm going to take Chris Flexen over 4.5.
Yeah, back to your Sandy Alcantara play. Cy Young favorite. I mean, guy is a workhorse. Has the most innings pitched by some margin in the big leagues this season. I mean, this guy's putting up crazy stats. Like I said, Cy Young favorite. So, I mean, expect him to go against my Mets. I'm expecting a low-run game. I think, you're going to see him out there pitching 7-8 innings. He just did last week against the Mets. So, I wouldn't be surprised if you see another complete stat line. I'm going to back my Mets, of course, small underdogs. But I think you're looking in the range of like a 3-1 victory because of that Marlins offense. But, I mean, you could expect Sandy to go out there and shove. So, I like both those plays. Great handicap. So my 2, I'm going a little bit the opposite way, trying to avoid the juice tonight. First up, I got a home underdog, the Atlanta Braves, one of the hottest teams in baseball, starting to make some inways on my Mets. Their home underdog is against the Dodgers, and Julio Urias just smoke and mirrors this guy. He has a 2.56 ERA. It looks nice on the surface, but he has a FIP of 4.53. He has a career low in strikeout rate this season. I'm not seeing him. And you look at the Dodgers this month. I know Mookie Betts just got hurt, but that was just this past weekend. The entire month of June, 16th in weighted runs created plus. They're typically sound offense. They're in a little bit of a June swoon here. And I think the Braves are just the better team right now. They're red hot at the plate. Acuna's playing lights out baseball. I bet him to go yard also as a bonus bet. But these are 2 great bullpens. I think that you're going to see the Braves get out to an early lead and hold the line as home underdogs, plus 114, like I said. I like Atlanta to get the job done. And then 2 favorites I like that I'm going to put together, make a little money line parlay here. Plus 138. I'm going to go the Rangers money line and the Giants money line. Plus 134, I'm sorry. Rangers. Stunning Dane Dunning. I mean, this guy is unbelievable at home. His ERA goes from 6.03 on the road to 3.02 at Globe Life Park. This guy just loves the home crowd in Arlington. He's unbelievable at home. The Rangers are actually playing good baseball too. They're top 10 in OPS against lefties. They're going against a lefty in Espino for the Nationals. Nationals, of course, last in the NL East in a rebuild. I don't trust them to hold up. I'm not trying to lay minus 165 though, so I'll pair the Rangers with the Giants, who are minus 210. Alex Cobb, this guy's just unlucky. He's a 5.62 ERA, but his expected ERA is 2.24. This guy is due for some positive regression. And if you look at the red starter, Ashcraft, 10 earned runs in his last 2 starts. Nice pitcher, has a lot of stuff, but it seems like he's starting to kind of regress a little bit after a hot rookie start. So give me Alex Cobb to go out there and get a strong start against the Reds. I think the Giants kind of that big favorite to pair with the Rangers, get that to a plus money price. So again, Rangers Giants money line plus 134 is my second best baseball bet for tonight.
Yeah, look, and I want to go back to your Braves play because I see your logic there. The one thing that I would be a little bit cautious of, because one of my, in our write-ups today, I had the over on Julio Urias' strikeouts, and the reason why is because I took the same line the other day when they played the Giants, is that the Braves had the worst strikeout rate when they play at home. They strike out 26% of the time when they play at home. And so I backed Carlos Rodon, who's a strikeout artist, and his line was somewhere around, I think 6.5, 7.5, somewhere around there. He ends up with 10 strikeouts. So I think that Arias, he may be able to get off a little bit early, and I may be able to change the complexion of the game. So I do think that, listen, the Braves are as hot as any team in baseball, right? They've won 4 of the last 5. They've gone on this crazy 14-game winning streak, all that stuff. So I think I might, for that one, I might look to the run line just to have them, keep it close.
Okay.
If we're talking about the Dodgers plus 1.5, because the Braves, at least on consensus, they are, minus. I think they might be.
No, Braves are small home underdogs. So I mean,
I see that.
Yeah,
I see that. You're right, because it changes every game. So even better, because I think that Atlanta will be able to keep it close in that one. And then once you go to your parlay, I'm a sucker for parlays. I can't really, And listen, if we're talking about a Friday lay, I'm all for it. So, yeah, Friday lay, I'm all for it. So I like both your handicaps. I see the vision though.
Awesome. And your best WNBA bet for tonight, is it going to include the Aces? Because every time I'm on with you and Ben, you guys are always on some sort of angle in the Aces game.
Nah, not today. There's only one game on today. It's the Liberty and the Dream, and I got burned by the Liberty earlier this week. I picked against them. They were 10-point underdogs to the Sun. I faded them. I thought the Sun were going to blow them out, and they ended up beating Connecticut for the second time this year. And I think I'm kind of done fading New York, because they've gotten me a couple times and they've really started to improve their play over the last several weeks. And so I'm taking the Dream money line, even money tonight against. I'm taking the Liberty money line, against the Dream. It's even money. And part of the reason why I'm doing that is because, like I said, they have been playing much better in recent memory. They've covered in 5 of the last 6 games. They haven't lost consecutive games in about a month. They're playing their best basketball right now. And I think that the Dream have a problem, because they have the best defense. They have the best defensive rating in the WNBA. But on the flip side, they have the worst offensive rating in the league. And so I don't think that they're going to be able to muster enough points up to keep up with New York. And, New York, they play at one of the slowest paces in the game. In the league. So if you're telling me that this is going to be a slow game, kind of like a rock fight game, you're going to have to be able to make a bucket eventually, and Atlanta just can't get that. So I'll back Liberty tonight.
Yeah, you'd call their offensive nightmare instead of the Dream. But yeah, no, I like it. Listen, go New York. That's good. Go New York there. I'm with it. And then for me, UFC tomorrow night. We're not gonna have a show, so I'll give out bet on tomorrow night's fight card. I'll also have a best bets column that's already up on BetSided. So if you want to go check that out, I'll tweet that out tomorrow before the event starts. But Thiago Moises by decision plus 190. He's a big favorite, so I'm looking kind of how is he going to win? What's his best avenue to victory? I think it's going to be by decision. He's going against Grigos, and he's off of 2 losses here, Moises. He's still a big favorite, though. I kind of like him. He's not a finishing artist. All of his UFC wins have come by decision. So I think he's going to get this job done. He's going to win the grappling exchanges. He's just going to slow this fight down. And even if he loses round 1, great live betting opportunity here because I think he's going to have the better cardio. And he's going to be able to wrap this up, get a 29-28 victory on the scorecard. So give me Moises at plus 190 to get a decision. I just don't see finishing upside there. I think this is the most likely path to victory. So give me that plus 190 as my best UFC bet. And that's best bets. Kind of going into tomorrow also, but best bets for Friday and I guess Saturday. And we have a recap graphic to come up with here. And yeah, so just to recap, Donnavan is on Sandy Alcantara over 5.5 strikeouts. Chris Flexen over 4.5 strikeouts. A strikeout heavy Friday. And then also the Liberty money line against the Dream. And for myself, I'm taking the Braves as home underdogs against the Dodgers. Doing a little Rangers Giants money line parlay at plus 134. And Thiago Moises by decision on tomorrow night's UFC fight card. And yeah, those are our best bets as we get ready to go here. And so obviously we got a Grand Slam coming up this weekend. We're talking Wimbledon, of course. I'll rattle off some of the odds first, Donovan, just to kind of get everyone in the right swing here. But so let's do men's first, right? Got Novak Djokovic, your odds-on favorite at minus 120. Matteo Berrettini plus 450. Rafael Nadal is plus 550 after saying he is on track to play in this next week's Grand Slam. Carlos Alcaraz, Phenom plus 1,200. Herbert Hurkacz, who's in great form, plus 1,200. Felix Auger-Aliassime, 14-1. Marin Cilic, 20-1. Nick Kyrgios, 25. And Stefanos Tsitsipas, also 25-1. That's your men's side. Kind of the only, I would say, contenders to maybe make a run to the semifinals, I would say. And then really quick, I'll hit some of the women's side. Iga Swiatek, plus 180. Ons Jabeur, 10-1. Simona Halep, 10-1. Serena Williams making her comeback at 11-1. Beatrice Maya, 12-1. Coco Gauff, who made her breakout here a few years ago, 12-1. Karolina Pliskova, 12-1. Petra, Kvitova, 12-1. And one more mention, she's in good form on grass. Angie Kerber, 2018 Wimbledon champion. She's 28-1. But that's kind of our women's side and our men's side. So, David, I'm going to tee you off here kind of. What are you seeing as some keys here? Get the viewers ready for Wimbledon. What are you eyeing in terms of betting, I guess, betting insights as you're looking to handicap this tournament?
Yeah, listen, so round 1 starts on Monday, right? So we still have a lot of time to get ready for this. And listen, these tournaments, they're really unpredictable, but one of the things that you can expect is huge lines from these favorites. We were looking at the lines earlier. Novak Djokovic is minus 10,000 in his opening round match. There's just no way that betting on Djokovic on the money line is profitable. So the first thing that you want to do is if you want to be in on the action, especially on some of these bigger names, what you want to do is you want to go in and look at the exact set scores, right? Because if you look at Djokovic's line, for example, he drops from minus 10,000 to minus 425 if you take him in straight sets, and then you have so many other options that you can go to in order to get some kind of value on these bigger names. And so it's gonna take a little bit more effort in terms of handicapping and figuring out who's really good on grass and who can push it and who's kind of in like decent form right now. But it's the only way that you're gonna get it's the only way that you're gonna get true value on the bigger names if you're not just putting money on a future early on, or if you're not looking at some of the smaller matchups and taking some upsets there. And so that's kind of the first one. The second one is, along the same lines, you want to look towards the over and the unders in terms of games played. This way you can get kind of like a little bit more of a range, because you can say, okay, either I want to juice it up a little bit, or I want to juice it down, and it's not just a set price for the entire set. So you can kind of play with it a little bit more, and it gives you just a little bit more room for error, right? Obviously, like if you say, hey, this person is going to win in straight sets and they drop set one, you're done. But you can say, but if that happens and you have an over under, that first set can still go awry and they can make it up in the second and third and so on sets. And so that's kind of the other thing that you want to look at, especially in these early rounds when you're looking at these key players. Outside of that, if you're just betting on like, not random matches, but matches where the people are fairly similar, then don't be afraid to maybe take some upsets, because those things are bound to happen. And so, but if we're talking about just big name players betting on your Nadals and Djokovic's and Swiatek's, this is the way that you're going to be able to find some value. And finally, if we're talking about just straight, handicapping things to look for from a player, you want to look at big servers, right? Big servers have historically done well at Wimbledon. It's the only major with grass. It's a much different surface, and if you can get it there, especially in the later rounds, because you start seeing the grass kind of decay. You see like the heat maps of where everybody stands, and so if you could kind of get these if you can back these big servers who are able to pinpoint exactly where they want to go and know kind of where everybody's going to be based on like those heat maps and stuff like that, that's another key in terms of finding success at Wimbledon.
Yeah, awesome stuff. I think your last point about big servers is huge to Wimbledon, and just the grass swing in general. I think there's a lot to be gained. And back to your over under point, I think that with big serves means you're seeing a lot of service games that are going, holding to love. You're going to roll through those service games. You're really on track. You have very few break chances. You're probably going to go to a tie break, and 1 point's going to decide, one mini break and a tie break is going to decide a set and really kind of flip the match on its head. So I think if you're looking at particularly good servers, you might want to look to go over their games. And I mean, listen, these edges are going to be sussed out in the market, but I think if you think that these matches are going to go particularly long and it's going to go to a tiebreak where one bounce is going to pretty much determine a set, and then all of a sudden you're getting 10 to 13 more games in a set, that game's going to fly over. So you may want to look and say, okay, maybe this underdog can maybe grab a set off of one of these big servers. Okay, I'm going to go over, because you're not going to see many break opportunities from these big servers either on their return games. They're basically just going to go, all right, I'm just going to serve this out. I'll try and win a tiebreak. So, looking at your over 39.5 and basically saying, all right, how many tiebreaks am I going to get? Can I get this to a fourth set? You're going to see a lot of competitive sets on the scoreline that actually aren't that competitive, because these servers are just going to bomb serves and get back to the next switch. So I think that looking over on competitive matches is kind of a secret sauce here, because you're going to see these sets go longer based on these big servers and your inability to really pick up on serves so fast. So I think that was awesome analysis there. And Dom, I'm going to go back to you, because I know you have some thoughts on Serena Williams. Obviously she hasn't competed all year. I think it's fair to say she's in the twilight of her career. Maybe she has one more last run in her, maybe pick up some slams here, but it does look like she's starting to slow down. I mean, she's, getting up there in age, obviously has had children in the past few years. She's competing less. What are we getting out of her? Because the odds have placed her as the fourth choice, which I think is rightfully so, because she has the kid. You can't make Serena Williams like 75-1, which like maybe she is, she's done. But her serve could go crazy at Wimbledon, especially with that fast surface. So what are you seeing with Serena Williams?
So look, when the lines opened, she was actually 24-1, and so she's skyrocketed above, and everybody's buying into this narrative of like, okay, Serena's back, now we have to bet on her. And listen, I hate to do this because I love Serena Williams, but do not bet on Serena Williams. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of money right now at this stage in her career. Like you said, she's in the twilight of her career. She hasn't won a major since the beginning of 2017, and then she went and had her child. Since then, she has not been able to finish the deal. She's been in 4 Grand Slam finals. She's lost all of them. She hasn't competed in a major in an entire year. She's been in 2 semifinals since then. She hasn't been able to get the job done. All we see from Serena, especially since 2018 when she's made her return, is that she's good enough to make the deep run. She's running out of gas every single time. And I hope she can get one more. I doubt she does, and especially she's not getting one here at Wimbledon. She's not getting one. The first one after a year, it's not happening. It's not
Yeah.
happening.
Maybe she's prepping for, trying to grab one of the hard court ones, whether it's the U.S. Open in September or the Australian Open in January. That might be more of her. This might be kind of a, like her ramp up, kind of.
Yeah, it's more her speed. And Wimbledon is it's my favorite major, and she's had so much success here, right? She has what, seven titles at Wimbledon. So this is clearly a tournament that she knows that she can dominate. And one of the finals that she's made the Wimbledon finals 2 times in the last 4 years. But again, she keeps losing them. She just doesn't have enough. And if we're talking about her going up against Swiatek, she might get rocked by Swiatek. Anybody who plays her right now might get rocked. She's just on such a dominant path right now. So I think that for Serena to move up and have the skyrocketing odds right now, it's just not the right move. And so I think that if there was anybody else to bet on, you probably have a better chance on betting on one of the lesser names below Serena to make a run and maybe even steal one from Swiatek.
Yeah, Iga, obviously the odds on favorite plus 180. She's won, I don't know off the top of my head, but it's got to be north of like 30 matches in a row at this point. Obviously won the French last month. Yeah. So yeah, it's tough to expect much out of Serena, in my opinion. And now for my fade, and it pains me to say this because every single tennis fan of the big, like they root for one of the big three more than the others.
Exactly.
And Rafa Nadal is my guy. Like I love Rafa. I root for him at all costs. And while it'd be great if he won Wimbledon this year and made it 2 Grand Slams in a row, I don't see it. I'm not buying it. I think that the run to the French Open title, it wasn't as impressive as people are making it out to be. I know he beat Novak Djokovic in 4 sets. It just wasn't as dominant. It wasn't a classic Rafael Nadal performance, in my opinion, that entire swing. He obviously has the foot issues, and he wasn't supposed to play in this event. There were a lot of questions. He just announced recently that he is on track to play. I just don't see it. When you see Novak Djokovic as the odds-on favorite, that's where I think the value is. To me, Nadal, he hasn't played on grass. I know it's a short swing, but I can't envision him getting up for this slam. It's his first time competing here since 2018. He didn't make the semis there, but he hasn't won since 2013. Djokovic has really taken over with his ability to return basically all serves, make everything a rally, and then win those rallies. He's just become the best player in the world on grass. Even Matteo Berrettini, who is in fantastic form himself on grass right now, I'm just not seeing Nadal making a run here. Again, he is Rafael Nadal, and his ability to win at slams has the opportunity to push him into the quarters and maybe the semis. But in terms of being a real candidate to win this title, I just don't see it at all. To me, this is a Djokovic title, even though I don't root for him typically. I think my money's going to be rooting for him in this. I think that this is Djokovic's. He is rightfully the odds-on favorite. I don't believe anyone's going to be able to hold a candle to him. I think Djokovic is going to roll through this tournament, especially with Nadal not in form. I'm honestly a little surprised he is competing in this tournament and not gearing up to possibly contend for another U.S. Open crown. But I just don't see it from Nadal right now.
Yeah, no, listen, that's completely fair. I think, listen, when you look at the French Open run, one of the things that's probably going to get overlooked as history goes on is the fact that match against Zverev was a walkover, right? And Zverev was pushing Nadal in that. I think it was in the second set where he was actually getting pushed. I think it was 2-2 at that point. And that match still had the possibility to go anywhere. And and for me, and I had said before the tournament had started that Zverev was one of the guys that I think could challenge Djokovic at the end. He obviously didn't get the opportunity to play him because of Nadal. But that walkover was so key, because when you're talking about a player with age, to not have to go through another hour and a half of tennis.
That match was on track to go another 3 hours.
That's what I'm saying. That match really could have been the end of Nadal's thing. And so I completely agree with everything that you're saying. I think that this is Djokovic's tournament to lose, and him being the odds-on favorite is the correct move. What I'm interested in, and it kind of sucks, but like, you got to fade the legends at a certain point, and you got to make way for the new school. Djokovic is just here though. Like I don't know when he's gonna stop, and it's kind of frustrating me because I want somebody else. Like I'm ready for Carlos to show up and dominate the game.
Yeah, if we're talking about fading someone, Alcaraz, he stands no chance on grass. This swing. He doesn't have a lot of experience on the surface. I think that he might honestly get bounced kind of early, and he'll get ready for the hard court swing where I expect him to contend for his first Grand Slam. But yeah, that's our Wimbledon little mini preview. We're gonna have a ton of coverage to kick off next week and kick off the Grand Slam. So make sure you go check that out on BetSided.com. But let's get into game of the night because we haven't really talked about it, but there is a possible champion being crowned in Colorado tonight. The Avalanche up 3-1, coming home to hopefully get Lord Stanley's Cup. They took Game 4 in overtime, their second overtime victory of the series in Tampa Bay to take this 3-1 lead. They won 3-2 in a dominant OT, in my opinion. The Avs are now minus 1,400 to win the series over at WinBet. Lightning plus 800 the other way. For tonight, the Avs are minus 180 to close this thing out. The Lightning plus 160. Over-under is set at 6, shaded toward the under at minus 120. Donnavan, thoughts?
I have been on the Lightning's bandwagon all postseason. Well, actually, not all postseason because I thought they were losing to Toronto. But since they beat them, I've been on their train. They've been my team. I backed them in every game this series, and I'm fading them tonight. I think it's over. My main point in Game 4 and the thing that I was hanging my hat on was the fact that they are the back-to-back champions. The championship grit is going to show up and get them one win, right? It's going to get them one, and they were not able to do it. And the scary part about that whole thing is that they played a solid game, right? They outshot Colorado. They had the same amount, they were equal. There was 35 face-offs in it. They blocked more shots. They had the same amount of penalties. They weren't really being undisciplined. And still they come out and lose a game at home in overtime, lose a second overtime game in this series. I think that they're done. I think that Colorado is clearly the better team. And tonight at home, a chance to get, the chance to get the trophy in front of your home fans. I think Colorado is going to be pumped up, and they're going to get this one over with.
Yeah. So I have a Lightning to win the Cup future, so I'm kind of on Lightning money line to begin with. I will agree that the Avs are the better team. I think that is for sure. I will also say though that while they're up 3-1, they did win 2 overtime games. It looks like that. Like people are probably gonna remember if the Avs win tonight, like, oh, Colorado just like kind of steamrolled them. I mean, competitive series in my opinion. I mean, you had 2 blowouts both ways, and then 2 games that went to overtime. Kind of a coin flip, right? Like if the Lightning were able to secure that victory in overtime, either in Game 1 or Game 4, you're looking at a completely different series. Of course, doesn't matter. But
yeah, look. Can
I tell my bookie that that the Lightning are competitive?
That's just how thin the margins, and especially when you get into these championship series. But I think that for the series as a whole, Colorado they've outshot Tampa Bay. They have more high danger scoring chances. They have more expected goals scored. Like they offensively, they've been able to dictate this pace for a majority of the series. That's kind of that works for them. It's been a little bit more wide open. And game 4 kind of went the way that I thought it was going to go. I thought that if the Lightning were going to have a chance, it was going to have to be an under type game. It was going to have to be a little bit closer, maybe 3-1, 3-2 kind of, which is what we saw. And it goes into overtime. But I think coming back home, Colorado is going to be able to open the game up a little bit more. Vasilevsky's been good. And even though that they're down 3-1, he's still top 5 in the Conn Smythe odds. So like people still understand that like he's doing okay, but he just hasn't been put in great positions to stand on his head and save the day. So I think that Colorado is going to be able to continue to put pressure on him tonight, continue to get these shots up, and that's just going to end up with a trophy at the end of the day.
Yeah, it does feel like that was kind of the Lightning's chance to really get into the series. Feels like a lot of things went their way early, and then they kind of let up, and the Avs eventually pulled away and got that overtime goal. I don't know. I guess I'm just contrarian. I'll go Lightning money line. I guess like everyone's ruling them out. It's kind of similar to my Warriors game 6 bet.
Yeah.
That everyone seemed to think that, oh, Boston's got this. They'll send this back to, Chase Center and they'll make this a game 7. It turned out they didn't. So I know it's a little bit different circumstances, but listen, the Lightning are 2-time champs. I think that they're going to come out and give an effort. And look, 3-1 in hockey is a little bit different than in other sports, like in the NBA especially. It's like we just said, the margins are super thin. Like, I don't think it's the most insane thing in the world to say. Listen, I'm not going to say bet the Lightning 8-1 to win the series. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that there is a world where I see this going back to Colorado for a game 7. I do not think that is some far-fetched thing. I mean, listen, the Lightning are plus 160 tonight. It's not like they're plus 350. It's not like they have no chance. I mean, we've seen this is like I said, 2 blowouts each way and 2 overtime games. So this is a competitive series, even though the score is 3-1 Colorado. So I see a little bit of optimism here, or maybe the Lightning roll over. I just think 2-time champions going for a 3-peat. You're going to see a valiant effort. So maybe they come out and kind of spark the upset and maybe, ignite the series up one more time. But it does seem like I'm alone, though, because the community has voiced their opinion. They have sided with you, Donovan. They are on the Avs money line as well. So there you go. I'm going to eat that L. But yeah, man, I mean, great show as always. Make sure you're checking out BetSided.com for all our content. Like I said, we're going to have Wimbledon previews up. I have my UFC fight preview, several best bets for the card tomorrow night. Make sure you are going right down below. If you like the content, make sure you like and subscribe. We have a ton of content. We have Daily Betslip every day, Monday to Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, getting you through the summer, getting you ready for football season. We're going to start talking about now the NBA draft is over. But yeah, Donovan, great show. Best of luck, everybody, on all your bets, and have a great weekend.